Hello everyone and welcome back to Send It's Weather channel, where today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to have a look at the forecast for August. I wasn't expecting to be doing this today, but it is quite hot today when I'm recording this. It is 31 degrees here. Pretty warm. I mean, I'd say quite hot. I'm sweating under the collar. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have a look at a little August forecast today, because why not, you know? Obviously, it's a long way off, and this is all experimental and open to question, but at the moment, with the forecast for the next 10 days, it's very uncertain, and of course, we'll be back looking at them either later on tonight, when I might make another video, or tomorrow, as we normally would. And also, there might be a live stream coming up as well at some point, but more on that another time. But anyway, let's see what the models are showing. So we're going to look at a load of different charts really today. CFS experimental model, of course, it's unreliable, whatever. And we're also going to have a look at the ECMWF 6-week look ahead, starting with the 28th of July to the 4th of August. So looking at the first week of August. With this run, of course, it's 3 weeks away, so long way off. High pressure is centred in the North Atlantic, going up towards Greenland, and low pressure is centred over Western Europe. Winds are in from the north or the northeast there. Looks like quite a cool picture, to be fair. And then if we look at the 500 millibar heights, which is basically another way of looking at it, very similar high pressure to the north and west, low pressure to the east. Winds are in from maybe a northerly or northeasterly direction. Now, I would look at the temperature anomalies, but it's not worth looking at them, seeing as it's so far out. But what I would say with this sort of pattern is that we would expect temperatures to be around to slightly below average for that week, if this pattern were to come off, because northerly winds bring in cooler air masses, typically. Now, looking into this, the second week of August, the 4th to the 11th of August, again, low pressure centred to our east, high pressures way out to our west, kind of in the Atlantic, and low pressure towards Greenland, so a very complicated chart, but you'd expect it to just be unsettled there. Maybe an unsettled and a flip to more unsettled spells. The 500 millibar heights aren't really showing anything. There's some high pressure to our west. This could all be low pressure, like a trough over Western Europe. So a very mixed week, possibly. The 11th to the 18th of August, this is a little bit more mixed. High pressure again out to our west, low pressure to our north, winds in from off the Atlantic with that, so Atlantic driven pressure air masses possibly. But with the 500 millibar height anomalies for this week, the 11th to the 18th of August, high pressures to our east, and that's going to be trying to bring in warm easterly winds, so well, that's open to question. Finally, week 6, a long way out now with this, and we've got high pressure out to our west, in the Atlantic, going to the Canadian side of Greenland, low pressure to our north, winds are in from the northwest with that. So, again, more unsettled and fresher. But with the 500 millibar heights, we've got heights building over parts of Europe through the North Atlantic. That could keep us dry and relatively pleasant, but nothing ridiculously warm. So maybe from that, you'd say quite a mixed August, but we'll have to wait and see how things develop. And if you do enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. We're not far away from 1.8k subscribers, so I really do appreciate your continued support if you'd consider doing that. Next then, we'll look at the experimental CFS model for August, because why not, you know, and I've just closed the wrong screen. So if we go to the 1st of August, with this run, it's actually quite similar to the ECM. High pressure to our western north and southwest, and winds are in from the northwest. We're looking pretty dry. Low pressure centred further north towards Greenland and Scandinavia, and we are, well, relatively average temperatures, really, nothing too remarkable. But what will it show as we go beyond and through August? This is the CFS course, so experimental up to question. If we see similarities with the ECM, then maybe we could see some sort of trend, but of course it is a long way off. So with this run then, by the 3rd of August, we have low pressure beginning to rattle in from off the Atlantic. That's bringing wet weather in through many parts of the country, and that clears away. For heights build to our east, bringing in a northeasterly wind, but again, northeasterly winds aren't going to be too warm at this stage. Going to the second week of August, high pressure continues to remain to our south. Winds are in from the west or southwest, dragging in that 10 degree ice firm. 15 degree ice firm into the southeast in the second week of August. Very mixed with this run. Low pressure to our west, stuck to our west. High pressure trying to get towards Greenland in the Atlantic. and also to our south, winds in from the southwest. It's a very mixed pattern, but actually quite warm for the southeast. But many parts staying more unsettled. It's very unsettled month, if this were to be correct. Low pressure continues to rattle in from off the Atlantic through this run. High pressure just remains out to our south and west, but low pressure just continues to dominate, really, until the very end, into the third week of August, where high pressure begins to regain control with this run. So quite similar to the ECM at times with this, more low pressure influence. But this eventually builds heights to our east and southeast. Winds turn to more of a southerly direction, and we begin to drag in the 10-degree ice firm through the country. So a bit warmer to end the month. Or getting close to the end of the month. Heights probably build then to our east then. Low pressures to our west. Trough winds in from the south, trying to drag in that warmer air, and also a few thunderstorms with that if that were to come off. Before again we do turn fresher and more Atlantic driven into the start of September. Of course, probably September is going to be a mild month because Septembers are typically mild during this era that we're in at the moment. That's just how it's working. But of course, we'll have to see how things develop. But I do find the patterns which both runs are showing very interesting. Also, this on the 6th of August, forgot to note this, is a trough stuck over the north of France, and that's bringing the wind from the east. That could actually be quite warm there, and that could allow some thunderstorms to form, particularly in the south. It could be quite volatile as well. But if we're looking at that from a bird's eye view, obviously it's a long way off, and of course probably be hated in the comments and whatever. It's looking quite a mixed August, more mixed than we've seen this month, which has been filled with hot spells. And I know it's not that hot as 1976, but it is still quite hot. You've got to say it is quite hot. And like today, 31.8 degrees, pretty hot, isn't it? And obviously we just expect a very mixed month if we're looking at this from a bird's eye view. But of course, it's subject to change. It's always uncertain. Anything beyond day 10. At the very least, unless it's winter and it's snow and it's like after day 1 is uncertain. But yeah, with this sort of pattern, it does look quite unsettled, and we would expect probably to see more of a favourable towards average or slightly above average August with the pattern that we've seen so far. Record-breaking CET July, record-breaking CET summer. I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribe. I'm living under a cave, as you can see. Help me out this cave by subscribing and watching until the end. Turning notifications on. Leaving a comment down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.